uploaded. The first issue we dealt with was with regard to, of course, the preamble, etc. We said, with regard to the extension of the dates of filing of the nomination or extending the schedule as notified by the State Election Commission dated 9/6/2023. After noting the submissions of all of you and section 43 and submissions of Mr. Bandyopadhyay, section 42, etc., and also taking note of the question therefore crops up is whether the writ court can entertain a petition after commencement of election process and at an intermediate stage. The three honorable judges of the Honorable Supreme Court of India in the case of Election Commission of India versus Ashok Kumar, 2008 SCC 216 took into consideration the decision of the Constitution Bench in NP Ponnuswamy and another Constitution Bench in Mohinder Singh Gill and summed up the conclusions in paragraph 32 of the said reports. The Honorable Supreme Court in Ashok Kumar held as follows. From the proposition of law laid down in the aforesaid judgment, this court is of the considered view that any action taken or orders passed by authorities vested with the power to conduct election can be made subject matter of judicial review on the ground of mala fide or arbitrary exercise of power of such authority if such an approach does not amount to calling in question an election. However, invocation of judicial remedy has to be postponed till the conclusion of election if the subject matter of challenge amounts to calling in question an election. So, WPA 286 of 2020. In so and so, the writ petitioner seeks for a mandamus to quash and set aside the notification issued on 9th June under 43 of the Act. An attempt made to set aside the notification would amount to calling in question the election. In view of the said aforesaid discussion, this court is not inclined to entertain such a prayer in the writ petition. Before that, we have set down what is the provision of 42, 43, etc. The proviso to 43(1) empowers the Commission to extend the date for completion of any election by issuing a notification for sufficient reasons. The extension of the date for completion of any election may or may not require alteration of date or dates for holding election fixed by the state government under 42. In the event the Commission is of the opinion that there is sufficient and just reasons for which the elections cannot be held on the date fixed in the notification issued by the state government under 42, then the Commission has to take recourse to the provisions laid under subsection 2 of section 43. That is, a reference to be made to the state government in that regard, and if the state government, upon being satisfied with the reasons shown by the Commission, revokes the earlier notification, the Commission shall consequently revoke the notification issued under 43(1). This court is therefore of the considered view that the alteration of the date fixed for election cannot be done by the Commission in exercise of powers under proviso to subsection 1 of section 43. That's our conclusion. If, however, if the Commission for sufficient reason considers to extend the date of completion of any election without interfering with the date fixed for holding the election under 42, such power of extension of various stages of election other than interfering with the date of election can be exercised by the Commission under the said proviso. Therefore, we have held in the light of the said interpretation, mandamus directing to extend the time for filing of nominations cannot be considered. Then the next issue is, and we have dealt with, you please go through it later.
My lord.
And one more thing, we have also taken note of their submission by 1 day, etc. And we have held the discretion to extend the time either under the proviso to section 46(2) lies entirely with the commission, and the commission, being an expert and independent body, is competent to take a decision in that regard. This court therefore leaves such matter to the discretion of the commission. Then the next one is regarding appointment of observers. With regard to that, we took note of the report. Then the stipulation under section 134, section 134 subsection 1 of the 2003 Act, and held thus the statutory provisions clearly provide for nominating an observer by the commission, who shall be an officer of the state government to watch the conduct of the election. The State Election Commission in its report has stated the commission appoints observers from the cadre of senior officers of West Bengal Civil Services and IAS cadre. In our opinion, the exercise to be done by the State Commission, being in accordance with the statutory provision, the court will not be justified in interdicting the same, as senior officers of West Bengal Civil Services as well as officers in the IAS cadre are bound to act in due diligence, bearing the mind and the purpose for which they have been nominated as observers. As held by Honorable Supreme Court, the jurisdiction of the High Court under Article 226 to entertain a writ petition challenging election is not completely barred, and the High Court can interfere. The bar under Article 243 OB of the Constitution, the jurisdiction of the High Court is not absolute, and in such cases where there is gross violation of fundamental principles to an election process under the scheme of the Constitution, the High Court would be competent to exercise jurisdiction under Article 226 of the Constitution and pass direction to enable fair elections. We have referred to the decision 1999 4 SEC. Thus, for this court to issue direction contrary to the statute, and in particular section 134 of the 2003 Act, would be a step amounting to calling in question an election which has been specifically barred by the various decisions of the Honorable Supreme Court. Corrections. It has been further held, we in Ponnusamy case we referred, it has been further held the mandate of Election Commission is to have free and fair election, maintaining its purity, subject to satisfaction arrived at by the Election Commission on the basis of expert opinion, cannot in a routine manner be interfered by courts. Therefore, we are of the view that appointment of observers from senior officers of West Bengal Civil Services executives, IASs in consonance to 134, and the same would be sufficient safeguard to achieve the object for having free and fair election, maintaining its purity. Therefore, we see no reason to accede to the prayer sought for in the writ petition to appoint a retired judge of this court as observer for the ensuing election. The next issue is with regard to the prayer for filing online nominations. This we have taken note of the earlier decision and of the Supreme Court. Therefore, by applying the ratio decided by the Honorable Supreme Court in the aforesaid report, this court is of the considered view that a writ of mandamus cannot be issued to directing the commission to accept nominations in the electronic form. The next issue is with regard deployment of central paramilitary forces. It has been stated by the State Election Commission that meeting on assessment of deployment of forces was taken by the commission on 9/6/23 with the Chief Secretary of the State and the Director General of Police, and an assessment plan by the state will be submitted in due course, which will be reviewed by the commission for taking appropriate decision. The petitioner's contention is that to instill confidence in the electorate, to ensure that fair and transparent election without any violence takes place. Before violence takes place can be achieved only by deployment of central paramilitary forces. The petitioner in WPA 287 of 23 would state that prior to the election of Kolkata to the Kolkata Municipal Corporation during 2021 and municipal election conducted in 2020, the state had witnessed large-scale violence which has resulted in various deaths as well. In this regard, the petitioners relied upon the various press reports which were reported in leading dailies during February 2022, highlighting which has occurred during the said elections. It is pointed out that the State Election Commission during the elections for Kolkata Municipal Corporation declared 1,339 polling centers to be sensitive out of the total polling centers of 4,949. Reference was also made to the judgment of the 5-judge bench of this court in WP number so-and-so, which dealt with the post-poll violence after the assembly election in the state in the year 2021. After taking note of all the above facts and circumstances, the larger bench referred the matter to CBI for investigation wherever allegations are about murder of a person and crime against women, and various directions were issued. The petitioner has also referred to various orders passed by this court from August 2022 till May 2023, where the court had directed the central agencies to investigate into the acts of criminal violence, explosions, bomb blasts, and violence during festival seasons, during religious festivals, and as such, 10 such orders were referred to. The decision of the division bench in WPA 272 of 2021 was also referred to, which concerned the municipal elections, wherein the court observed the election commission is vested with the responsibilities to ensure free and fair, fearless election, to assess the ground situation, take a decision in the manner, etc., etc. In the light of the same, it was observed the election commission, along with the state authorities, is required to be apprised of the ground situation prevailing in Bidhan Nagar. That issue we have referred. Then we have said this court also had an occasion to consider the situation which had arisen during the Hanuman Jayanti festival, and after assigning reasons, directions were issued to requisition the assistance of the paramilitary forces, which order and direction was complied with by the state. It is not in dispute that a preliminary assessment has already been made by the State Election Commission, and several districts have been earmarked as sensitive districts. It has been widely reported in the press that there have been several instances where prospective candidates complained about non-availability of nomination papers, which resulted in violence being precipitated and such other incident. Considering the fact that the total number of seats for which the election has to be conducted is more than 7,500, and going by the past incidents, wherein on more than 12 occasions, the court had to intervene for directing deployment of central forces or transferring the case to the National Investigation Agency, we are of the view that the State Election Commission should and shall requisition the deployment of central forces to work in tandem with the police force of the state of West Bengal to ensure free and fair elections. It is stated in the report that the assessment plan submitted by the state will be reviewed by the Election Commission to take appropriate decision. The ultimate decision should lie with the State Election Commission, more particularly when it has been the consistent submission of the petitioner that there is inadequacy in police force to be deployed throughout the state so as to cover all polling stations, especially when the number of seats for which elections are to be held are more than 75,000. Therefore, the State Election Commission shall forthwith requisition of deployment of the central forces. At the first instance, for all the areas and districts which, in the opinion of the State Election Commission, have been declared as sensitive. Thereafter, the State Election Commission shall review the assessment plan submitted by the state, and wherever there is inadequacy of state police force in all such areas, the State Election Commission shall requisition the deployment of paramilitary forces. This requisition shall be done forthwith by the State Election Commission, and on receipt of the same, the appropriate authority of the central government shall deploy the required strength without loss of time. Considering the facts and circumstances, we are of the view that the charges towards such deployment shall be borne by the central government, and no part of it shall be charged to the state of West Bengal.
Grateful.
Then we have done.
Not only one thing
then
with regard to this, your lordship has recorded municipal election.
we have not completed. We have not completed reading the judgment, or we'll say disposed of. If you want, you.
No, not that. I was just pointing a not correction. I'll point. I am.
You wait for some time. Can you not wait?
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm taking a note.
We have been doing this from 9:30 in the morning.
I'm sorry. I'll.
There's a decorum to be observed, Mr. Counsel.
I'm extremely sorry.
Next issue is with regard to installation of CCTV cameras. After taking note of the report, saying that it is not feasible, we have said, therefore, a workable solution has to be worked out so that no polling station escape from surveillance of the State Election Commission. Therefore, we direct the State Election Commission to install CCTV cameras in all polling stations, and only such of those polling stations where it is where it is technically not feasible to install CCTV cameras, in those stations alone, the entire process commencing from the filing of nomination papers till declaration of the results have to be videographed. In case the State Election Commission is to requisition CCTV facility installed by the police department, then the police department should share the link with the Election Commission so that the video footage which have been recorded and live streamed can be viewed by the State Election Commission, and such recording be saved in the data files for future reference. Then ultimately we said, while the steps taken by the Commission is appreciated, it should be ensured that the video footage have to be preserved and shall remain in the custody of the Commission. And in the event of any eventuality, the footage has to be viewed by any authority shall be made available to the appropriate authority in the event of such requirement. Simultaneous counting we have approved. Then regarding filing of nominations before the district magistrate, we held that that prayer is contrary to section 44, 46, 1, etc. can't be exceeded. Then the next one is regarding deployment of these contractual workers. We referred to all the submissions of the interveners of Mr. Sanyal, etc. And then referred to the handbook of for the returning officers published by the state, and the 94 Act, 2003 Act. In view of the provisions laid down under the 1994 Act, read with the 2003 Act, the appointment of presenting officer and polling officers, this court is of the considered view, the persons who do not suffer any disqualification for appointment as presiding officers and polling officers, as specifically provided under 6 of the 94 Act, read with section 28(1), can be appointed as presiding officers and polling officers. Then we said this court directs the Commission to keep in mind the provisions laid down under the 1994 and 2003 Act, for as well as the stand taken by the Commission as indicated in its report filed in court. Then, with regard to deployment of contractual employees and NCC boys, the handbook states that they will be deployed as a last resort. However, the handbook further states that the fourth polling officer may be drafted from Group D officers. Thus, it goes without saying that if contractual employees and NCC boys are to be deployed, they are to be deployed to undertake a work lower than the work assigned to the fourth polling officer and not assigned any duties above the fourth polling officer. By then, Mr. Sanyal referred to section 9, etc. Section 7. And we have referred to that State Bank of India case, etc. With regard to engagement of civic volunteers in election work, it would be relevant to take note of the circular issued in memo number so-and-so, the IGP dated 24/3/2023, wherein the duties that may be entrusted to civic volunteers has been specifically laid down in the circular. Then we have quoted the relevant portion. In view of the circular being issued by the competent authority of the West Bengal Police Directorate, this court directs the Commission not to entrust to a civic volunteer any duties because the said circular full stop. In case, in case the commission decides to engage civil volunteers for discharging any of the duties with regard to conduct of the Panchayat election. The next aspect of the intervener was this protection of the polling officers. Then we refer to this Rajkumar Ray, teacher Uttar Dinajpur, etc. Then the association represented by the secretary, how the inadequacy, etc. Then about how many instances of death which are reported in general election 2019, assembly election 2021, 15,000 cases of post-poll violence after the West Bengal municipal election, etc. It is stated that the association is a registered body under the West Bengal Societies Registration Act, and it's a united forum of teachers and teaching staff. And they have come forward conveying their grievances and demanding adequate security, etc. Therefore, we are the view, direction will be we have directed requisition of paramilitary force, and on an appraisal being done respect of other areas where violence is anticipated, directions have been issued to the commission to requisition the required paramilitary forces and coupled to the direction to provide the same at the cost of the central government. Therefore, we are the view that said direction will adequately protect the interests of the polling officers and polling personnel. It goes without saying that the State Election Commission should undertake all steps to ensure that safety and security of the polling officers and polling personnel. All preventive measures shall be taken by the Commission, and standard operative procedure can be devised to be implemented in all polling stations throughout the state. In the event if in a particular police station central force has not been deployed, then it shall be the responsibility of the state police to ensure the safety and security of the polling officers and polling persons at such polling station. Therefore, there will be a direction to the commission to ensure the safety and security of the lives of the polling personnel and polling officers. And the event of any complaint being brought to the notice of the commission, swift action should be taken, and the persons who are indulging in violence should be severely dealt with. This direction be complied with in its letter and spirit without giving it any room for laxity. With the above directions, the writ petitions are disposed of. Yes, what is the mistake?
I'm sorry, your lordships have recorded the last municipal election of 2020. It is February 2022. I could not find out while reading your lordships, reading the judgment.
That is that municipal election.
Municipal election, your lordship has recorded
In one place, we have said 2022. In another place,
Yes.
you say it is
where your lordship was dealt with that CRPF, that portion, I was trying to point. But I'm sorry, I should have waited. I was taking a note and I could not. I'm very sorry.
No.
I'm very sorry. After Kolkata Municipal Corporation, then your lordship has recorded municipal. After Bidhan Nagar recording that, then that came. Perhaps it has gone down as 2020, perhaps.
Municipal election conducted in 2020.
Yes,
it should be
2020.
2020.
Actual date is 27th February 2020.
Well, can I just to clear myself, only one place, my lord, that your lordships have directed that already the booths or places which have been identified as
districts have been identified
as a
and notified by the commission, which has been widely reported. To my recollection, our recollection, 7 districts are declared as sensitive.
Anyway, that's that there. This central
provide
forces
all the support to the commission, sir.
Only the central forces would be deployed. So, but the rest is concerned, they will make an assessment then. Well, we are ready with the supports.
Yes, that is what
we didn't. Yesterday, I thought it that your lordships would be dealt with this central forces matters, because your lordships in earlier judgment, earlier on the other day, your lordships have said that it will be decided by the central commission. That therefore I have not addressed the issue. I have not addressed this. We have requisitioned
the judgment. Any party who's agreed.
No.
Their avenues are.
No, I am not on that. I am not agreed. I am not saying I am agreed. I am submitting, that
this is what can be done in the shortest possible time.
Very nice. I am not on
one
that.
indulgence only, my lord has granted.
Therefore, I did
Let
not
them continue till the counting is over.
ভাই একটু ভাই বলতে তুই তো সবসময় তোরাই বলবি
বলে দিন স্যার বলুন
তোদের 10 জন অ্যাপিয়ার করছে তোরাই বলবি
স্যার বলুন
I didn't address the issue since your lordships have passed an order on 9th. That is regarding the central forces, the election commission will take a
That
decision.
is a prime facie observation
No,
for
that-
for them to respond.
Anyway, that's my misunderstanding because
No, it is the commission which has.
no, I
to
am not
address.
on that. My misunderstanding in view of the clause 10 of that order that a prima facie, in other places, prima facie words have not been. To inform to your lordships, Lord, I wanted to, I would have addressed this issue. 15 battalion requisitions have been made by the state from different states.
this was not said
We have already requisitioned it. 15 battalions, one battalion.
now they are
will-
getting
it
free
is
of cost from the center now they are getting not one thing
No,
only.
you are not required to give
But
advice.
your lordship has seen your
No, you
lordship
will not required to advise.
your lordship has seen
Election
death
has
of
been, election
500
has-
persons post-poll violence. Lord, let the CRPF continue till the counting because majority of Lord that will
Commission will, they'll requisition, sir. When they have to be sent back, they will decide, sir. Don't worry.
We will be disturbing your lordships in another big constitutional questions matter coming up.
Whatever
Come,
great-
we'll come.
And that will, your lordship will be happy to,
Yes.
regarding the legal constitution, it will be having a national impact.
Please, we'll decide.
The total number of seats ballot in the panchayat is 7,500.
75,000. No,
No, no, at one place, perhaps that was the municipal Kolkata municipality. Yes. One WhatsApp number maybe where we can complain. Kindly, that
it is there with the commission. It is there with the commission.
So there, if the once it is doubled, at least the commission cannot deny that we are not informed. So I can agree.
We have passed it.
but we are grateful to you.
Grateful to you.
You
For,
want the requisition without loss of time you provide.
for,
During the polls or also ballot during at the time.
Right from now, right from now.
my lord, for,
Till the completion of the process,
Lord,
that will
kindly
include
for-
count.
getting my, to me cleared by myself, clearing, don't take it that
Lord,
I am thinking about other avenues.
Lord, I am very sorry, my Lord,
Get
kindly.
this idea from your lordship's mind.
Lord, I am very sorry. I am very sorry. I traveled your lordship 3 days.
Numbers may be circulated among the.
That they will devise, sir. But nobody is there from the commission.
No. Yes, he is there.
No, she is not an employee of the commission.
No,
She's a
she-
lawyer.
Lawyer,
There are 5 people, one
they were
bearded.
not aware.
It is-
They
If
were
it
not
is,
aware.
yes. Both they were here, both they were.
Now everyone is hearing.
They are hearing online, subject to correction.
Oh, they are hearing online.
Lord, we can,
Uh,
Lord, we
That's
can expect that there will.
That's the reason I said.
We will try to upload the
Unless
order as early as possible.
Unless there is any number notified, the complaint number, the situation may arise that nobody has complained.
Yes,
Only one thing, commission will give
They
a
will
number.
devise, some method.
yes. Yes.
You convey it to the
And
commission.
CRPF till completion.
That's the reason exactly. I have-
Say, they want some redressal mechanism.
Yes.
Suppose now you are booking for a gas cylinder. Are you going to
But
the,
the problem is the.
are you going to the dealer?
No, the problem is this.
You get a
But
OTP.
the problem is this.
So therefore.
Nobody wants
some-
to, the, who are appearing, they do not know what are the mechanism is. If
there
a
is mech-
complaint is made, first one has to make before the returning officer. Or the police. Yes, that's the law. Yes, that
But-
is the law.
That's-
That is the
But
law. Mechanism is
till
fixed by the statute.
Yes.
Yes,
EMR.
that has been
Mechanism is
dealt with.
fixed by the statute.
Not extremely grateful to your lordship, Lord, extremely.
তক বাংলা, দেশের ভরসা এখন বাংলার ভরসা।